afternoon and welcome to The Other Page. My name is Haywood Fennell, Sr. This program is brought to you by Triad Veterans League in association with BNN Television and Radio. Really happy to welcome you to our program today and our guests and talk about the community's development, a little bit of profile on our leaders as well. And this is a program that focuses on veterans. 857-204-5312. We know that there's no reason why we have homeless veterans in America. We also know that veterans, especially African American veterans, are being challenged because of the lack of equity in services, even though many have served. Leaving this country young, bright, coming back dreadful, couldn't even talk about the things that happened to them. Some were buried, but not with the honors that their white counterparts received. And we're working on that too. So we just want to welcome you again to The Other Page Television and our guest today, your name?
Yes, Jumadaa of the Hullock Henry Smith.
Okay, and you are?
Aziza Robinson-Goodnight.
Folks, let me give you a profile on the energy that we have here today with these two ladies. It's a lot of energy. We're going to talk about a few things that they do in the community that benefits the community. We're going to start off talking about Juneteenth.
Okay.
How about that?
That's
Is that good?
That's good. Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Juneteenth?
So, Juneteenth, the Boston Juneteenth Committee and the National Center of Afro-American Artists, its 16th year, that no matter what day the 19th of June falls on, we reverence, we educate, and we celebrate Juneteenth Emancipation Observance.
Excuse me. You said celebrate and educate.
I said reverence.
You said celebrate and educate. I'm going to hold you there. I'm going to come back on that. Go ahead.
Okay. And so with that in mind, what day is it? The 19th of June. That's what Juneteenth is about. And very quickly, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed January the 1st in 1863. And the Texas enslaved people, they didn't find out until 2.5 years later, 1865, on the 19th of June. And that's why we call it Juneteenth, for the 19th. And so we get together as a group, as the Boston Juneteenth Committee and the Museum of the National Center of Afro-American Artists, and we have an all-day, 3-part event. So do you want me to go on and tell you what it was? Because Aziz is on the committee also. But first of all, we have the flag raising at the Dillaway Thomas House in John Elliott Square. And we have none other than a man by the name of Boston Ben Haith. He created the national Juneteenth flag. So Ben, he now lives in Connecticut, but he's coming back. He comes back for us, and he helps to raise that flag on the 19th of June. And we have a little small flag raising ceremony at the Dillaway Thomas House. And right next door is Roxbury Heritage State Park. And of course, the Department of D.C. ARA is very much involved. And we've been doing this now for about four years. And we, as far as the parade is concerned, we've been doing it 5 years. But for the last 4 years, we kick off at the Roxbury Heritage State Park in John Elliott Square. And we come down John Elliott Square. We go past where it used to be the Timothy School. And we go down John Elliott Square. And we go to the very foot of Dudley and But anyway, right at the tip, and what's there, Haywood, the Edward Gordine,
Edward Gordine Park.
Yeah.
African American Memorial Park. And that's at Washington and Malcolm X Boulevard. We cross Washington Street. This is the parade route. And we go to the left is Nubian Station, and to the right is the library, the shop.
Stop you. Let me stop you.
Okay, because I'm going to give you the whole...
No, I'm not going to stop you.
All right.
And the reason why I'm going to stop you is because I want to hear from the sister.
Aziza, okay.
I want her to tell me her role.
Okay, so Jumada's in
your dad's a veteran.
Her name, too.
Yes.
Your father's a veteran.
My dad and my grandfather,
Okay.
his brothers and sisters.
Okay.
So I come from a family of veterans. But I'm here, of course, on the Juneteenth committee as the parade marshal this year. So she was in the right place talking about the parade. I serve as the parade marshal this year. So helping to organize parade attendance, keeping together, keeping in line, and leading the way with the chair. Also, that parade goes directly to the National Center for Afro-American Artists, which is such a special place for me. It is home. I see it as my Pudding Stone Palace every day. So I'm always happy to serve community through this space. And so on the actual grounds, there's not the observance, but the actual program. So the keynote speaker, Dr. Tia Lights, will be, and she's a former principal of Davis Leadership Academy, or Smith Leadership Academy, which is not open anymore, but she did well there. Also, Spark the Artmobile will be on site. There'll be lots of vendors. There'll be food vendors. There'll be vendors that you can buy from. There'll be education vendors as well. Yes.
Okay.
And don't forget the
So
54th.
The 54th.
So let me ask you about this.
Mm-hmm.
How did she get the banner that she's wearing across? Tell me about that.
Because she's the chairwoman.
What is it?
So what is this banner here?
What does it mean?
So she leads our way. She's
been acknowledged, is that right?
She's been the chairwoman, so she has taken that. She's been the chairman for 16 years, right?
No, 14. Mr. Ralph F. Brown.
But I'm saying that's an honor that she's wearing it.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right.
And she does.
But you had something to do with that?
I had nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm following the lead of Jumada at this point.
Okay. I just want folks to know that 14 years, that's a long time. Wow. You're like a general in the outfit, right?
Mm-hmm. To God be the glory.
And can we say something about Barry?
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying. When you say NCAA, you're talking about Barry per se up until now. And so we were partners.
Yeah.
Mr. Ralph Brown.
Say that name again.
Mr. Ralph F. Brown with an E.
Yes.
Junior, senior. This is junior, senior. And so Mr. Brown called about 5 of us together at the museum. Barry, Carol Murray, who was working at the time, Mrs. Ralph Brown, Wilma, Aaron Holzclough, may he rest in peace, and Imam Abdullah Farouk. And Mr. Brown explained that Ben Haith used to, at Franklin Park, Roxbury Homecoming, Ben would always do Juneteenth. He would try to keep it going.
Build it up.
He was getting ready to move to Connecticut. And he asked Mr. Brown to take it over. And Mr. Brown was already part of the Massachusetts Juneteenth Committee. And so Mr. Brown had this idea to see about bringing it to the museum. And we talked about it. And I asked two things. My first thing was that we would always have it on the 19th of June. And then the second thing is that we would always call it a Juneteenth Emancipation Observance. So that's how. So Mr. Brown, he was with us for 2 years. He passed away in 2012. So we did it in 2010, and then we did it in 2012. 2011 and 2012. And then he passed like in that September. And so then the committee or whatever, they decided I was the chairperson. So I just accepted their position. But I just want to say that.
It looks very nice.
Well, you know, one of the young ladies is she who was on the committee. She designs
Got
things.
your name on there too.
Yeah, she designs things, and from New York. And then another one of the young ladies, she went to Princeton and she's in New Jersey now, and she had this young lady make this for me, and see, it even says Juneteenth Emancipation Observance 1865. So it is an honor. It's an honor to have this. So I'm trying to wear it because we
It's
want.
an honor.
Yeah.
So, you know, while you're talking about the Browns with a knee, you know,
Yes.
is Mrs. Brown still involved?
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, during the program, you know, Aziza was saying about how when the parade is over, the vendors, the retail vendors, the food vendors, the Spock, the automobile, and all of that is going on. And they're ready when the people come down for the parade. The parade kicks off at 1:30. The flag raising is at noon. And the grounds are open at 2:30. And the 54th Regiment is
54th,
historic.
volunteer.
The 54th.
Them black guys.
Those are
Come
the
on now.
black guys that, you know, what it was the movie that they saw, Glory? That's the 54th, right? The movie Glory. Okay. So anyway, they're in all three. They're at the flag raising. They are in the parade, Haywood, and they camp out, you know, on the grounds. Then they're going to post the colors and so forth. But all that's going on. And then at 4 o'clock is the Emancipation Observance Program. And in that program, we have different things to go on. Actually, the Emancipation Proclamation is read. As read, and every time I read it, it just does something to me. But listen, I want to say this. Part of the program, we give out 2 Ralph F. Brown Awards. And we give them to young people that exemplify the types of work that Mr. Brown did in the community. And so every year we recognize 2 people after Mr. Brown passed away. So we've been doing that now for 14 years.
Well,
So
let
we
me
have
just say
14
something.
times 2. We have 28 Ralph Brown awardees.
Let me, you know, it's veterans. It's a veterans statement when you say Ralph Brown.
That's right.
You know, his family's involved in what we do to raise the level of awareness around veterans. So I had Veterans League, an organization that I'm a part of and founded. We have an art exhibit at the Strand Theater now that students from Arts for Humanity did over 10 years ago, and Stephen Hamilton was the instructor to get these 13 paintings of African-American veterans from the American Revolution up until World War II. Here we are now talking about 250 years of liberty for this country. And I met at the event that you guys put on at the First Church of Roxbury, when the guy comes in with the horse.
Oh, yeah, Roxbury Patriots Day,
Okay.
Roxbury Collaborative, yes.
Retired Brigadier General and I exchanged some comments, and he has shown interest in the African American veteran participation in World War freedom, okay? 1774, around that time, in Lexington, in Lexington. And so we're gonna go out there, hopefully with our exhibit, so that people can see that. And we're now collecting signatures as well as other citations from the governor, from the mayor, from the Brown family, and we hope to get one from the Gordine's group.
Yeah,
You know, because we're going to present our proposal to the United States Postal Service to create a commemorative stamp series for African American veterans. I thought it was important that we say that.
But, you know, I like to give credit where credit is due, and you talk about Mr. Brown, but I also, I feel like your middle name is veteran. And I just remember years ago when we were at the city, and the city called us in, and they were going to call it, it wasn't a task force, I forgot what they were going to call this group. And you are the one that said, well, wait a minute, we need a name. I mean, they were going to, I forgot what it was, but I don't know if you remember that, Haywood. And that's when we came up with Veterans and Friends. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because you said we're going to have the name
Yeah,
Veterans in
right.
there.
I remember that part.
And and we were going to be called some kind of, not task force advisory committee.
No.
But some kind of committee.
Yeah.
And you said that's I just want to say that you've always pushed. And I want to give my 4 brothers a shout out. All 4 of my brothers are veterans.
Can I give it to?
Pardon me?
Can I give it?
Sure.
Okay, we're talking about Abu, talking about Sharif, talking about Jake.
Yeah, we're talking about Jake, but who comes before
Mustafa.
Jake? Mustafa.
Come on,
And
you
then
know.
Jake. That's my age.
Yeah, Mustafa, are you kidding me? I mean, like, the two of you really know what your particular families mean to me. Coming to Boston, not being from Boston, and coming out of darkness that I'm no longer in. And they were a part of that, helping me with that. So it is really an honor to be a veteran, speaking with members of veterans' families that are doing things in the community, because veterans folks are an overlooked and underused community resource. We do a lot of things, Oscar Michelle Family Theater Program, Veterans Literacy Program, all the things that veterans should be involved, they are not. And we're trying to wake people up. No last statements for veterans, none at all. And we can talk about, your father, Paul Goodnight, one of the international artists, but he was a veteran. And like you said, your granddad, and you come from a family of veterans, and he was Vietnam era veteran, a combat veteran, okay? And we know combat veterans, but we also know that there's a shadow around being a combat veteran. And Triad Veterans League did a scientific survey with the help of Dr. Joseph Warren show that veterans are people that serve veterans, are professionals, are not sensitive to our culture values. And as a direct result of that, our veterans do not go to the VA hospital. They go to other community service providing agencies, but they don't get their benefits. So I'm going to talk about the golden years. I'm going to talk about the other things that Jumadaa is going to talk about. But I got to talk about veterans. This is a veterans program.
Can I give my Uncle Maceo a shout
You
out?
always talk about Maceo.
Uncle Maceo, his name was Moses Maceo Collins. And my grandparents, my grandfather was born in January of 1863 when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. And my grandmother, 1876. But anyway, my Uncle Maceo was in the service in Germany. And they got a letter telling them that my uncle was missing. And my Uncle Maceo was a prisoner of war. And when they found him, I've got to find out how many pounds he weighed. It was unbelievable. I can't even remember. And do you know when he came? He was in Germany. So they found him and everything. And when he came home, the soldiers, they were on a train. And when they got off of the train, my uncle had to go this way to the colored. And the white soldiers, he couldn't even get a hamburger. You see what I'm saying? And that, to me, the reason I don't like that story, nobody would like it, the bad news is that, unfortunately, and in reality, a lot of our black veterans are not treated fairly.
So let me
You
go.
know, and that's why I love what you do.
I just wanted to say a thing, and then we're going to go someplace else, all right?
All right.
You came in and to talk about the Emancipation Proclamation. And there was these people in Texas who did not know about the Emancipation Proclamation. For 2.5 years, they sat, and then some guy comes up and says, yo,
General Granger
you're free.
in Galveston, Texas.
You ain't got to do this no more. So you can work and get paid, but you're not going to get paid the same amount of money as your white counterparts or the white people.
You can be in the military. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And you can go. You ain't got to stay here. You can go. So let's go to 2026.
So 2026, the shape of things to come, that's our theme, the future is in our hands. That's the theme. So now we're going to go to...
So you said the future is in our hands. Say that again. No, you don't have to read it.
No, I want to read it. I want to read it because I want to be I like to read. The theme is the shape of things to come. The future is in our hands.
So the 1865 is the year of the informing them for the Juneteenth. 1865.
Yes, General Granger in Galveston, Texas.
1865.
Yes, sir.
And this is June the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Folks, we're going to take a little break right now. This is the other page, a television program, and we're having a discussion about the validity about service to the United States government. Do we wait around for reparation, or do we change our thinking and change our direction and come out on June the 19th and learn a little more about what Juneteenth really is? My name is Haywood Fennell. We'll be right back.
Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States. Dating back to 1865, it was on June 19th that the Union soldiers, led by Major General Gordon Granger, landed at Galveston, Texas, with news that the war had ended and that the enslaved were now free. Now, I must mention that this announcement was 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which had become official January 1st, 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation had little impact on the Texans due to the minimal number of Union troops to enforce the new executive order. However, with the surrender of General Lee in April of 1865 and the arrival of General Granger's regiment, the forces were finally strong enough to influence and overcome the resistance. One of General Granger's first orders of business was to read to the people of Texas General Order Number 3, which began most significantly with,
"The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and free laborer."
The reactions to this profound news range from pure shock to immediate jubilation. While many lingered to learn of this new employer-to-employee relationship, many left before these offers were completely off the list of their former masters, attesting to the varying conditions on the plantations and the realization of freedom. Even with nowhere to go, many felt that leaving the plantation would be their first grasp of freedom. North was a logical destination, and for many it represented true freedom, while the desire to reach family members in neighboring states drove some into Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Settling into these new areas as free men and women brought on new realities and the challenges of establishing a heretofore non-existent status for Black people in America. Recounting the memories of that great day in June of 1865 and its festivities would serve as motivation, as well as a release from the growing pressures encountered in their new territory. The celebration of June 19th was coined Juneteenth and grew with more participation from descendants. The Juneteenth celebration was a time for reassuring each other, for praying, and for gathering remaining family members. Juneteenth continued to be highly revered in Texas decades later, with many former slaves and descendants making an annual pilgrimage back to Galveston on this date.
Back again, folks. We wanted to do that little presentation. Veterans are an overlooked and underused community resource, and we putting together the strategy to create an animated movie. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am to people who have not only helped me, but helped what I am about, which is the veteran. As Jumadaa said so eloquently, she started insert veteran in my middle name, and I thought that was good. I joined the Golden Ears Club, folks. And I gotta say that, I kind of laid back, going in. Right? Thank you, Jumadaa, for your role in the Golden Ears. They were calling me to see if I was receiving my newsletters, and there they were in the mail. I'm grateful to be a part of that, because of the people that are members and the people that you bring in to speak. Tell us a little bit more about your work with that.
Okay, so I'm blessed to be the coordinator of the Golden Ears of Freedom House. This is my 12th year, so it's my 6th term, I think. But anyway, my mother was a Golden Ear of Freedom House, and so
your mother was a Golden Ear?
Of course, and so I used to say, when I get older, I'm going to be a Golden Ear. They would go to New Orleans and Canada and New York to all the shows, but they had a civic. They're the oldest senior organization in Boston. Did you know that?
All I know is I'm a member.
But they were called,
history.
yeah, it's very historic. And there were a lot of guys and a lot of veterans. Of course, some of those 60-plus guys, but before that, I don't know if you knew Mr. Reddick, but anyway.
I knew Mr. Reddick from Humboldt Ave, you kidding me?
Yeah, yes. Both of them were Golden Ears. They're both gone. The Kincaids, Andy Kincaid, and I don't want to stop, but we have veterans now. Some of them are sick and shut in. But the Golden Ears, you only have to be 55. Oh. It's not like you have to be 80, But anyway, we're excited with the anticipation of what's going on, but we've always had a social and we have a civic prong.
I like you going to the Northeastern and
yes, we're with the Reckonings Project.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone and we went for 4 days and 3 nights to the museum in D.C. And the
really, 4 days and 3 nights?
Yes,
really?
and that gave everybody an opportunity, because you can't see it all in one day. So it gave us an opportunity to be able to attend 2 days and get it all, Right. So we have good activities, but historically, the Golden Ears started out with the name the Golden Leafs or something. And guess who started it? Mrs. Hester, the wife of the pastor of 12th Baptist. Wow. And they were getting ready to move back to where? North Carolina.
Is membership open?
Membership is open. We're getting ready to recess.
How do we get in touch?
You can get in touch with the Golden Ears of Freedom House, 5 Crawford Street. You could.
What's the phone number?
Well, you can call 617-445-6902.
That's my number.
It is not. That's my number. No, that's a voicemail.
Okay.
But we listen to it all the time. But it's 445-6902. And we meet up until June, and then we kind of take a break. We might have a retreat this summer.
Let me just interrupt you
Yeah.
right quickly. 'cause
Okay, all right.
We got a lot of things, folks. We really do, you know. And I'm trying to get it in so
Thank
you
you,
understand.
Haywood.
But
Thank you.
I know a story about a young girl. You know, she was interesting, and her parents were involved in art. He was an artist, she was a businesswoman, and they had this little girl. She's here today, and I'm just so proud of her. You know, I knew her mother who recently passed, who always encouraged me and took my book and put it in her store. Sold a few copies up there. She came on a television program early on talking about travel, and I'm asking about a daughter. Didn't see her for a while. She was growing up, and then she ended up with a daughter, you know, and now she's here today in support of community organization and what they're doing, and I don't want to be remiss and not, you know, just let her know how much I appreciate the love that her family gave me. And, you know, I mean, there wasn't no judging this. They looked at the qualities of a person's spirit and worked with it from there. So, you know, we honor you today for being who you are. You know, we don't have a person that makes a lot of noise and do nothing. She don't make no noise, but she let her actions speak. And coming in here today, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all something, you know, about kindness, right? I'm looking at her, and I remembered we were someplace, and she saw me, and she wanted to make sure I had a seat. You know, she wanted to make sure. I mean, that's not something that just pops up. You grow with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You learn it.
You know, and so I just, you know, that's Paul Goodnight daughter. Everybody know her now. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And what your mother did, you know. Because they asked in the church up there, they said, does anybody have anything to say? And I sat over there and I said, yeah, I got something to say. And I talked about how your mother helped so many people. And now you're trying to do the same thing. So,
She is.
you know, we want to move right along, folks. You know, we're just so glad. I was saying to myself this morning, what am I going to say to these two women that's coming on that I've known so long? Because, like I said earlier, you can't get to a good place by yourself. I'm in theater, I'm writing books and all of that now. I have a radio show, television show, and these technicians here help me. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that they do here, folks, at BNN, and I don't ask for much, but they do a lot for me, right, to have this show here. And I just want to express my gratitude, not just to them, but to you all out there. Mm-hmm. We want you to come up on them grounds and see Barry Gaither and Paula Core.
And Akiba Abaka, she's now the executive. The interim executive director is Akiba Abaka.
Listen, let me tell you something, man. I can't miss. I cannot miss. When I say that, man, believe me when I tell you that. People have helped me, and people will help you if you say that you need help. That's how they got together. That's how, it wasn't nothing like, oh, pop up. It was people interacting with each other and wanted to do something for the community. And that's all. I'm looking at a Bill Cosby show one time, and I see a picture, and I said, oh, that's my man picture. And look, dude say, man, shut up, you don't know that guy. I said, what? I said, that's Paul Goodnight, man. Do you know how that makes people feel? And to have his daughter on here and her friend.
Wait just a minute. You go.
What else you talking about?
Jumada's one of my community moms, more like a mom.
What else do you have to present here?
Let me see. We talked about the veterans, and we talked about the veterans and friends. We're members of that together.
Well, the Veterans and Friends is very, very special to me.
Yeah.
And I want to let people know that, again, Ralph Brown being my mentor when we was up at the Post on Blue Hill Avenue, and he did this one meeting to me. He telling me to shut up? He was telling me to shut up so that I could listen to what was going on.
Yes. We went down to City Hall yesterday to finish up our permit. And I remember years ago, I just felt like it's a little orphan Annie that would walk behind, and I would go with Mr. Brown to City Hall, and he would stop at every station, every cubicle. And when I did that yesterday, I said, look at that, how God was grooming me for such a time as this, to be able to just go do it. But as we speak about the Veterans and Friends and the Organization of African American Veterans, which that's on the 16th of May, was the city of Boston made it the African American Military Heritage Day in Boston. And I think about all of, I like to call them the old codgers, those old veterans that tried to meet. They would be tired, but they met. And I think about the former, I think about Benny White, I think about, Randy wasn't a veteran, but he was part of the group. I think about Bill Jenkins. I think about, who's the guy did all the printing? Bill Venter. And all of the guys, all of the veterans that have passed on. And
Let me stop you.
Yes, sir.
We gotta stop you.
You do. You have to stop me.
Because, Jumada, women are veterans.
Oh, yeah, okay. I got to name some of them.
We don't do enough or say enough for our women veterans.
Okay. Well,
Mary Tooth is a commander of the post up there. I remember her when I was locked up in jail, man. She came up there with the late Gloria Fox to speak to the fellas. And then I looked around, I'm out, free, I'm back up in there with Gloria Fox, speaking with the fellas.
That's true.
It's
Thank you.
Karen Miller, she's a veteran.
My
I know
auntie
female
Debbie Burke.
veterans.
Well, there's several golden ears. Lois Epps.
We want them, Miss Odom, we want
Pat
them
Odom.
to come to and be recognized.
Amen.
You talk about the gentleman Edward O. Gordine committee, Mr. Venter and I would get up in the mornings on certain days and go to Harvard so that they could get a 501c3. We did that.
I was there. I
Okay.
wasn't.
I was elected 2 terms and raised money for the school and helped raise the statue. I was a chairperson when the statue went up, Miss Z. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt so good. Here's a guy in a room of doom and now in a room of light and might. Huh? Okay?
We got to say something about the civilians who support the veterans.
About who?
Like Fern Cunningham, who did
Oh, yes.
her last piece of work that she put her hands on. She did that statue. Her cousin Karen, who did all the bas
You to me,
reliefs.
Karen, you to me.
Karen Udemy, she did the bas reliefs.
Yeah, you was on top of that, though.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you was on
you
top
know.
of it. But the thing about it is that I've always been in love with.
Her? Just,
Hey, look,
Where's Terry?
I was writing
Terry?
for, and I did an article on your dad too for a paper out in Springfield, and I met Fern. You know, we talked and everything, man. And she was just an angel.
She was, yeah.
You know, and your dad was coming out of the military. He had struggled to get out of there, but he got out. You know, and I wrote and I wrote in this little newspaper. I can't think of the name of it right now. I also did something on Wally down on Mass Ave before he passed and stuff like that. So you know, I embrace veterans.
Yeah.
You know, because we got a strong story to tell. I'm getting ready to write a thing called Brown Baby. You know what a brown baby is? A brown baby is a child of a veteran of a European woman.
Oh man, I have a chapter for you, my brother.
Hey, look, and they couldn't get married at that time. So the little boy is in Europe. It's a European black. He comes to America to look for his daddy, who's dead and buried in a segregated.
Haywood.
Hey, folks, this is the Other Page Television. My name is Haywood Fennell, and I got these two ladies here, you know, and I'm going to let them talk because, you know, I'm so grateful for them. And I don't want them to leave here talking. Haywood did all the talking and we didn't get a chance to say anything. Say a little bit about what you're doing, you and your daughter. Come on.
What have I been up to? I'm so happy to be on the Juneteenth committee. Like, first and foremost, I'm
Yeah.
here for that. My daughter is dancing away. She's a dancer. She's been dancing for 6 years competitively. Yeah, and she loves it, and she acts as well. She's very good. I'm gonna show you. She blew me away in her last play.
How old is she now?
She's 11, and she had a 7-minute solo and choreographed her own tap dance to it. So I'm proud of that. Being a mom, that's what I'm doing. But I'm also a local and national reparations organizer. So no, we're not waiting for reparations, but full repair encompasses it all. And so it's not just a check, but the check is necessary for us to fully repair.
Well, you know, seed the mind so you can grow the crop.
You know,
Okay.
I love it when we interact with young people because you can learn so much, just like they learn from us. We learn from them, you know, and we happened to be talking yesterday about calling and trying to get help over the phone, and you can't understand the people because they're not in the United States, and it's kind of hard to understand. And she taught me something I didn't know the words for this. And it's called AAVE.
So
African American
Vernacular
English. So when you say, because sometimes I have to say, may I speak with someone in the United States, please? Because I can't understand them.
You said vernacular.
Vernacular.
Yeah.
So what Jumada's trying to say is, we were talking about like how to navigate things now that it's hard for Black Americans now to navigate because there's nothing that's catered towards us. So for me, when I go places, I say, do you have an AAVE interpreter? Because once you ask for an interpreter, they're legally bound to figure out how to figure out your problem. So I use that to my full advantage all the time. Like if because
You do it so much now. It's
I do.
She said, "Oh,
formidable.
your supervisor."
It's formidable.
Yeah.
it's formidable, and I could continue to tell other people to use it because we do live in a city where if you're just a Black American, you're overlooked constantly. If you don't speak another language, you're overlooked. You're not getting the help because we have not expressed what we need. And so asking for them to give me an interpreter so I can understand. If you're telling me no, I don't understand. I don't understand, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to access anything.
You know what? I'm going to talk to you because I agree with you. We are within a zone of limited communication skills. Jumadaa, I know, and you probably, in your job when you was working with the government, you and I could talk and they wouldn't know what we were talking about.
That's right.
That's our language.
I mean, you know, that was for survival, being able to communicate, right?
It still is that.
Yeah, but it's spreading now.
Yes.
It's very important, folks, that you understand what's being discussed at this point here. You know, how do we communicate for equality? How do we communicate for presence being understood? You know, I don't want to knock nobody with that reparation stuff, but I just can't understand it. I got to have another word. Was it retribution? Retribution what?
We should not change the word. That would change the direction. So you have to be really clear, right? A lot of us are working on the backs of what our ancestors already did to bring us to a meaningful ending, right? But if we change the word, we change the trajectory of what we're actually doing.
Come from under the table, please. Go ahead. You understand? That's where we are, man. You can talk about all
We're prisoners of
politics,
war.
but if you don't know how to communicate and demand and command, do.
But we're not through, because we still have hope. The future is in our hands, the shape of things to come, right? So my father always talks about fire, function, and foundation. He learned that from John Biggers.
Oh, he
Right?
was a professor at Texas Southern where I went.
Yes. And so fire, function, foundation is, you guys are foundation at this point. Function is me. And our 20-year-olds is the fire. So we need you to serve as the foundation. But the foundation has to be strong. It can't waver. So that function can feed the fire.
Say that again.
Fire, function, and foundation. We need our elders to continue to be firmly, because that's not what's going on. There's a lot of trying to still be function. We need our elders firmly in foundation, firmly planted in foundation, so that we can function to feed the fire.
Right. Got you.
So you remember Outcast, they said the South has something to say. So Jumadaa has something to say, what you two are saying, because the key is unity. It's okay. We can't all jump on the same bandwagon. If somebody doesn't want to be on the Boston Juneteenth Committee, that doesn't mean that they're against us or opposed to it. They're just more focused in on this particular thing. But we have to have unity, and we have to support. And this is where we fall short. I say, let's go to City Hall and let's talk about things. And here comes saying, well, why do we have to go to City Hall when we could go to the State House? And I said, let's walk to the State House. And here comes Aziza. Well, why do we have to walk when we can take bicycles?
Okay, so
By
let me
the time
just
we
say
get through
something.
talking, we don't have unity. So
I
all I'm
wanna-
saying is reparations
I want to
is
just
fine.
say something to my viewing audience as we get ready to
I
wrap
get
up.
fired up.
It's getting ready to wrap up here. I want to thank these ladies for coming in and exciting you and exciting me, you know, and we're not a political program.
Right.
We are caught up in a complex situation, and we're lost. And there were some suggestions made here today. I'm not going to say where I stand. Yes, I am. I stand with change of direction. I stand with the importance of knowing who we are so that we can know where we can go. I stand with my community, and I also stand for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make that perfectly clear that we're not going anywhere but to the office of the commissioner for policy and procedure changes. They tried to cut $724,000 out of the veterans' budget. You know, I got right on that phone and called that mayor and just let her know. If anything, give them $724,000 more for our veterans. We're going to be working out of one of the places with our theater program, and on September the 12th, we want to bring it to you, Giving It Back Black. We're going to talk a little bit about the chief of theater in this town, Mr. Barry Gates. You know him, we love him. You know, we're also looking forward to our animated movie project. We want to get some young people involved in that. We'll be going down to Artists of Humanity to talk with Jason, you know, catch up with Steve and Rob, you know, and we're going to do the Cuda and the Magic Quilt animation. We have 4 books, Cuda and the Magic Quilt, Cuda and the Challenge, Oba and the People's Eye, This Man Thoughts About Our Times, and I'm completing Cuda and the Shepherds. You know, we just want to be there, do some things in the community. And again, I want to thank your family for all that you've done for me and for veterans and 4 brothers. Wow. Daddy and some more. Me and my brother and my uncles, we all veterans. We all raised our hands, and I told them at one of those meetings where they were giving me an award, I says, I didn't come for no award, because man gives awards, God gives rewards. Look at me.
Amen.
Huh? So
Amen.
I'm not caught up in that running around thinking I'm somebody that I know I'm not. Because you want to give me an award, I gotta fight because it's right. Veterans serve this country, men and women, black and white. And so we deserve, we're not gonna be disrespected unless you think you're gonna get elected and say you help veterans and you know you didn't do nothing. We're calling you out now. Now, again, I want to say June the 19th, we're going to be there. I'll be square, right?
Amen. That's right.
June
Thank
4th.
you. Can we say thank you to you? Thank you, Haywood. Thank you
can't
for
say
letting
that.
us be
You
on.
can
and
thank being
I'm
in, but you
thanking
can't thank
God
me,
too.
Thank
I
you.
was talking before the television show, you know. But I appreciate the greeting, the intent, especially when you mentioned the Brown with the Knee family, you know, and also giving me the opportunity to say on mass media my love for you and your family, and certainly looking forward to trying to get your daughter in one of our events. We will. You know, we've gone a therapeutic line with our plays now. You know, we have the Lena Horne Project, which talks about light-skinned girls and dark-skinned girls, and the importance of not letting people define us by our physical attributes. You know, so again, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Chairwoman. Folks, we had a great time today. I certainly hope you enjoyed our show and our program. And 857-204-5312. That's for you to call when things are, you know, a little bit too much for you and you need some help. And don't forget to ask for help if you need it. We are available for that. We want to thank all the community folks out there that help us to support us. We want to run some images as we close down. We want to thank Dr. Keith Motley out there. You know, oh man, he's been real good to us, and we just want to let folks know and to let him know that we love you and we appreciate you and your wife. God bless you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.